Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2019 general reading. We are looking at the first half of November from the 1st through the 15th. And this reading is for the water sign of Scorpio, our lovely deep scorpions. Remember to check your rising and your moon sign, your Venus sign if you know them and if you can, because it can help provide additional clarification and just kind of add to the bigger picture and hopefully understand what's going on in your life a little bit better. This video is also for those of you who may be cross-watching for Scorpios as well. So welcome to everyone, welcome to newcomers and first-timers, and welcome back to followers and subscribers. Thanks so much for all your support, feedback, and comments. I'm not sure if my background has changed since the last generals I did. I'd have to go back and look. I've been doing so much traveling lately. I just came back from 2 weeks in North Africa where I was kind of exploring there, and I'm back in Eastern Europe, and I'll be here for a couple of more weeks until I return home to the States, at least for a while. And one of the drawbacks of traveling so much, since of course I don't carry posters and pictures, is I never really know what my background or my lighting is going to be like. So today it's back to a blank wall, and it's rather dim as there's a storm moving in today, so you'll have to deal with nothing in the background and my funny face. Hopefully that won't distract or detract from the readings. Alright, I am using the Gilded Tarot by artist Ciro Marchetti, which I really love, especially for my general readings. And as always, if there are any of you who are interested in scheduling a personal reading with me, one-on-one reading with me, live or recorded, you can click on the description link below for more info and contact details. My email address is there. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I do readings full-time, 5 to 6 days a week, sometimes 7. So I'm pretty diligent at working with both your schedule and mine to set up readings in as timely a fashion as possible. And I do offer a wide variety of readings of all different types and lengths in all the main areas of life. So send me an email if you're interested. I would be happy, most delighted to work with you. Okay, Scorpio. Let's see what the first half of November has in store. No, I'm done. Has in store for you. Okay, Scorpio, we begin with the Five of Swords, followed by the Knight of Wands. We have the Knight of Cups, followed by the Two of Wands. From the bottom of the deck, overall energy and focus and advice for the first half of November is the Wheel of Fortune. So this is God, Spirit, your angels, and guides. All those forces we have no control over. Divine timing and orchestration, bringing things together at the right time and the right way according to their plan is at play here, kind of over you over the first half of November. I feel like for many of you, Scorpio, this is in regards to a relationship. I feel like for many of you this is likely a love and romance relationship, or although it could be for some of you a different type of close relationship, but I feel like for many of you it's love or romantic, and I feel like it's a relationship that you've been in for some time at least. I don't think this is a very new or very recent relationship. I feel like, and also I have to say, you know, when I post the videos for the beginning of the month and for the mid-month too, I usually do 2 rows of 2, one for the first week and one for the second week. Timing is always fluid, and never more so than in general readings, because there's so many of you watching. Some of you this might be already ongoing, starting a little before or playing through a little bit later than the middle of the month. But I actually feel like for many of you this is playing out pretty chronologically in order. 5 of Swords, Knight of Wands in the first week, Knight of Cups, 2 of Wands in the second week. But of course for some of you that's always going to vary a little bit. So divine timing, orchestration, God, Spirit, your angels, and guides, that Wheel of Fortune is working for you. And in the upright position it does imply, regardless of how you might perceive what's going on, that it is a blessing, even if you can't see it at the time. So 5 of Swords and the Knight of Wands, I feel like you are moving very swiftly, very quickly away from a situation. I feel like a relationship, actually. I feel like you have made up your mind after much struggle to leave this relationship behind because it is, at least the way it has been, is not in your best interest. The Five of Swords represents a hard-won victory, and the people on the ground behind him can sometimes represent that this victory, that winning actually means that you have to leave a person or people behind, and that therein is also part of the victory. It's a hard victory. Technically this is a victory card, but the colors are still kind of murky and grim. He looks tired, worn out, exhausted. He doesn't look victorious. He's bleeding from a little cut on his forehead. This has not been easy. Coming to this point has not been easy. He has gathered up all his opponent's weapons, which means their ability to hurt him. This can represent also moving away from selfish or exploitative people, or away from a situation or relationship or relationships where you have given far more than you have received. He doesn't feel victorious, and for those of you who are moving away from a relationship or have made a decision to do so, it hasn't been easy. And even though this may, if you're in a relationship that isn't fulfilling, and you have decided that it probably doesn't hold the potential to be what you need it to be for you, and you've made the decision to move away, you of course have no guarantee that that's going to happen down the road, but Spirit tends to meet and match that energy. You're basically taking a leap of faith, because what you're saying is, I know I don't have any chance of having what I need and what I want and what I deserve within this relationship, not the way that it is. So I'm going to take a leap of faith and go be by myself and hurt and grieve and kind of move on in the hopes that one day I will actually be able to have it, because I don't have a chance at it if I stay, and I will somewhere down the road if I leave, even though I don't have guarantees of that. It's about taking a leap of faith and doing what's in your own best interest, which I fully believe Spirit actually meets and matches that energy down the road for you. Now, of course, since this is a general video, the results of this may vary too. For some of you, sometimes leaving someone who, a relationship which hasn't been right for you can be very difficult, but sometimes it's the thing that actually brings the needed transformation within that relationship, and sometimes the leaving and the breakup is permanent. It's going to vary per person, but I definitely feel like it's the best decision, because I feel like you gave far more than you received in this. I also feel like the other person actually is seeing that too over the first half of November, and they are kind of grieving a bit as well, even as you are moving so quickly away with the Knight of Wands. Knights always represent fast-moving situations, people kind of coming in and out. Sometimes in love and romance, the Knight of Wands is considered the player card. It could be that describes the personality of the person that you're moving away from. But I also think that this is your energy, that you've made up your mind very decisively to kind of move forward. Now, around the second week or so, of course, timing being fluid, we have the Knight of Cups and the Two of Wands. I think that whoever this person is, and I think that they've had their own agenda for quite some time, even if they've said, oh, I don't know, I need more time, blah, 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 whatever. I still feel like they've had their own agenda, Scorpio. And I do feel like as this decision you've made becomes more and more of a reality to them, that they are going to come back in like the Knight of Cups, offering love, support, encouragement, promises, wanting to have a second chance, wanting to have a reunification, or talking about the future again. Cups is water energy, so this Knight comes charging in. He's in love with love itself, and it's not that he believes fully what he's saying, or he or she, in the heat of the moment. They believe it. And this could very well be a sincere offer. But the cautionary thing to remember about the Knight of Cups, about Knights, is they're still in the growth and maturation process between pages and the Queens and Kings. So sometimes the Knights have a challenge in being in the follow-through, particularly the Knight of Cups, because Cups is governed by the element of water. This is emotional, watery energy. So sometimes the Knight of Cups will come in and promise these things, and he believes it and means it in the heat of the moment. But the difficulty for him is in carrying it out on a day-to-day basis, because, putting the work and effort into maintaining a healthy, sustainable, loving, balanced relationship, is not always easy. Sometimes it's hard work, and it's not always, warm fuzzies and roses and candlelit dinners and things like that. Sometimes it's about getting through arguments and disagreements and unforeseen hard times that come into your life. And sometimes the Knight of Cups has a challenge and actually following through that day-to-day stuff that doesn't feel so lovey-dovey and romantic. So cautionary advice on that. And what clarifies it is the Two of Wands, trying to find a way, trying to decide which way to go based on this offer coming in. I really feel like you should, I'm really feeling quite strongly that you should hold your course, Scorpio. It may be that what this person may be, you know, promising or saying, oh yes, well now let's talk about the future. It might be sincere, but you have to hold your course of action until you actually see that proved out on a day-to-day basis, or proved out by them making the commitment that you want, or coming together the way that you want, and backed up by action. Because I believe God's Spirit, Angels, and Guides is kind of leading you and giving you the strength that you need, which you haven't had before, even though maybe you've tried to move away from this situation, this relationship, this person, whether or not it turns out to be permanent or not. Let's pull a final advice card or two from Spirit to see how you should best navigate through this. Because that Knight of Cups, that loving offer can be difficult too, especially if this is someone you still care about and love. It can be, you know, you can get distracted again. Because what you need is verifiable, played out over time kind of action. The Fool, and right behind it the Star, more major arcana cards. This is a pretty significant thing in your life, Scorpio, that is evident, I think. Not just the relationship itself or what you have learned and how you have grown during it, but what this decision that you're making actually says about your growth too. The Fool and the Star is your advice from Spirit. The Fool is about starting off on a brand new journey, the one that you can't really see too far ahead of you. The Fool is a trailblazer. He's all about stepping off the beaten path, starting a brand new journey. He can't see more than a step or two in front of him, taking a leap of faith, kind of stepping off into the dark, taking a risk, which is a strong indication you need to hold your course of action and see how this plays out. And the Star is about hope, faith, and optimism, knowing that the path that you're on is divinely led and guided, and that regardless of whether you can see it or not, as long as you devote yourself to it, you will be replenished and you will be rewarded. You're on the path towards what you actually want, whether it's this actual leaving ends up helping to transform this relationship so that you can come back together again in a healthy and sustainable way, or whether it means, you know, going through that ending, which is important so that you don't get tempted to go back into it by not allowing that healing process, that hurting process to happen. And then being able to be open for what you actually really do need and want and deserve down the road. So maybe perhaps a somewhat challenging reading, but beautiful and powerful nonetheless. So Scorpio, that pretty much wraps up your reading for the first half of November. I hope you found it helpful and useful. Again, for those of you who are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me, just click on the description link below. Email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. Until then, I wish you much love, joy, blessings, peace, and strength, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.